got these cute children's books that I purchased from Portland, Tennessee at a consignment shop before I left town. They each have this really nice dust jacket on them to protect the books, and I want to cover the dust jacket to protect the dust jackets. You know how the library does it, and they use some kind of acetate plastic to protect. Let's start with getting this price tag off. That's very nice. That came off smooth and clean. Isn't that pretty? These are such nice books. Got 3 different nice books. And 2 of these covers are very dirty. They've got like a lot of smudges and stuff. And it looks like there's only 2 books here that have that kind of slick surface that I can actually clean. Yeah, I don't think you can see what I can see, but it's very kind of fingerprinted and some sticky stuff here and there. So just give that a swipe. Oh, that's so much better. That is so much better. This one's kind of slick too, so it wasn't as dirty as the other one. You just never know, who's been handling these books. And I mean, it's been in storage for a long time, so the germs are probably dead. But I still want to just make it look tidy. There now. That looks much better. Let's go ahead and start with Mike Mulligan. And let's see which one fits the best here. These are the rolls of acetate I was telling you about. Put these to the side. Okay. After you've picked out your paper in the right size, or you want to get as close as you can to the right size, It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but you don't want it to be too short either. A little too big is better than too short. These don't have to be perfectly flat, but you do want them not to be so resistant. Okay. When I did my library video, I measured and I used a ruler, but that really wasn't necessary. I was being so precise for the sake of credibility at the library. I doubt even the library measures it like I did. So as long as you have it lined up against the edge, you know that you're straight. Okay. When I first started making these videos 5 years ago, I used to pull the cellophane back all the way, and it was so noisy and I was so frustrated. Now I realize you only have to take it out part way, and you can slide it right in there without any trouble at all. And I don't think I flattened the dust jacket very well either in my first videos. I've gotten a lot of practice since way back then. And the reason that I started covering books with this stuff is because I have my earliest remembered triggers are from when I was a child, and I've heard many of you say the same thing. You remember when you were, say, 5 years old, and the kindergarten teacher would read you the story. Maybe you'd be in the library, or maybe you'd be in your classroom, but all the kids would sit around, and the teacher would take out a book much like this and read to you, and after each time she read a page to herself, then she would turn the book around and show you. And when she turned that book around and showed you, or even turned the page, that dust jacket crinkled, and it was just the most wonderful trigger. And of course, the sound is accompanied with the magic of the story, whatever it was, and just the warmth of the moment, because here you are, a young, impressionable child, and there's somebody reading a fun story to you. And if you're like me, you got sleepy and so comfortable just listening to the voice of the teacher. I would venture to say that even people who don't experience ASMR probably still have good memories of story hour at the library or in your kindergarten class. I know I do, on both counts. Either way, I think that even some people can attain these same sort of memories from when they grew up and went and checked a book out from the library. It isn't just children's books, you know. See, when I got older and I go to the library and I checked out a book that had a dust jacket on it, and that crinkle crinkle sound just mesmerized me. Now I am doing this just a little bit differently than I normally do. In the libraries and most books that I've checked out, they will tape the leaf edge of the dust jacket right to the book so that it won't slip off. So if you do it the way I'm doing this time, you can get the dust jacket off the book without tearing it or causing any damage to the inside of the book itself. So on one level it's good, or better in a way, to not tape anything directly to the book. However, in the library, a lot of libraries, they're not concerned as much about that as they are about keeping the dust jacket on the book. They didn't want people taking it off. But in my case, I don't care, so I thought I'd try it this way this time. So, I'm not a librarian. I don't have to worry about theft or misidentification or anything. The moon might be milk. Looks like it's too small. Let's try the bigger roll. I think I have about 4 sizes. And I've bought a lot of this stuff before because I wanted to. I had so many different sized books. Now here, let me just show you the name of the company here. It's called Broad Art, if you can see that. BRODART. And I just ordered straight off of Amazon. Anybody can cover their dust jackets if they want. Colors in this book are very rich. And I'm very drawn to this type of children's books. Children's book. Because of the jewel tones that they use. I'm sure there's many different styles, but this is just beautiful. Just flatten these out. And as I said, you don't need to be perfect about getting them completely flat. You want the book to remember its old crease lines so that you can put it back on the book. Okay, so of course you need to check out the size piece you need based on the length of your dust jacket. So simply lay it on top at first. I remember when I first looked at this book, I thought, how in the world could this story go? The moon might be milk. Then after I read it, it made sense. open this up just a little bit. Slip that into the dust jacket cover. And make sure you get the edge way down in there. Usually once you set it, it stays, but sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, try again. Yeah, that should stay now. Certainly doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be covered, if you know what I mean. I'll see the value oftentimes in a book, be it new or old, but a book with a dust jacket carries more value in general than a book without a protective surface. Dust jackets really save the life of the book and increase the value of it for resale. I think if I could, I would probably just buy 1,000,000 books. I would love to go to an old library, let's say in England or something like that, where they have books that are hundreds of years old. And just look around, explore. And I do love libraries. This tape is so much more effective than Scotch tape, and I could use that and it would work just fine. But in my opinion, it peels up too easily and has less of a clear color. And I like the tape in this situation to be as clear as the cover itself. This tape is so clear and pristine that if you, it very easily gets fingerprints on it, and that messes up the appearance, so you have to be careful. Alright, we are ready for the book. Put that right down in the middle. It's best to try to get it as snug as possible, but that doesn't always matter either, just as long as it fits. We have it lined up very nicely. Okay, now other side. Alrighty. See, I like that tape kind of disappears on there. You can't hardly see it at all. And you don't need much. Well, that's the other thing too, is Scotch tape will so much more easily rip. So if you just tugged on this dust jacket a little bit in the certain right direction, it'll just come right off. That's why it's better to use for gifts, because you'd want it to come right off when you're opening gifts. We all know that packing tape is supposed to be super, super strong. Okay, right there. I do want to keep it kind of narrow to the piece. It can be longish to reach across both sides, but it does not have to be all wide and fat. So there. There. I imagine you could put two pieces on if you wanted, but okay. Book number 2 is finished. The moon might be milk. Look at those colors. Oh, so vibrant. I'm looking forward to reading these books in a video. Book number 3 here. A Fine, Fine School. Got some tape on my scissors here. Get that off. Okay. This book has some very nice colors too, but the front of the book is very white, and the inside you can see it's pretty vibrant. Very nice. It's funny because when I pick these books up at the store, and I don't hardly even have, first of all I pick up the ones with the dust jackets. And then it just takes a really quick skim, very quick skim to see if I'm going to like the storyline. Or if it'll just be interesting enough to captivate me and or a child. I'm pretty hard to please with stories. So this one's very interesting. I do fascinate over the way that adults engineer a story about the most commonplace things, and yet turn that into a unique, amazing little tale about, and it's more your imagination. And this book in particular asks the question, what would it be like if school was in session every single day, and you never had any vacation, and you never had any weekends or anything like that? And I thought, well, that's amazing, because of course when you're a child you're going, no way, feels like that's all you ever do is go to school. So I found this story very fascinating. I'm gonna have just an average amount of paper to fold over. Actually, this is a very good fit. Some of this broad art acetate covers are perforated right here on the line. I'll keep it towards me this time and I'll show you. Right here, see there's a bunch of ridges. And since it fits so well, it's actually folding over right on the line, the perforated line, and it's much easier to fold it with precision. And then of course that makes it easier to get the cellophane turned over in the same manner. You don't want the white paper to come out beyond the dust jacket. Always err on the side of shorter. Because actually, in reality, the most protective aspect of these dust jacket covers are the acetate plastic. The paper just kind of gives it a little more oomph. It would be, let's say you spilled on it or it somehow got wet, the paper would be more quickly absorbent than the dust jacket. Okay, fold that back up. Get our crease before we put the book back on. You don't always have to do that. Sometimes you can use the book itself to reform the crease. Okay, that fits just fine. If you are into these types of sounds, I do have a playlist called Dust Jackets. And there you can see how I struggled when I first started doing this. But the sounds are still really good. Some of you are not fully aware of the fact that YouTube channels do have playlists that are specified to a certain either sound or genre or topic or whatever. And for me, the way I set my playlists is I try to put together the same sounds, same type of sounds. But the only trouble that I find is that there are different volumes on different scare you. Okay, that's nice. But the playlist is really just a good guide to help you find your favorite kind of sound. So I think it's worth, a look through my playlists anyway. Oftentimes you'll find an artist, putting together some playlists that they aren't all similar, and I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. But most of mine are the same. Alright, I'm going to throw in this last little book that I got from a wonderful gal. I want to call her name Betty. And she's from Germany, and she sent this to me for Christmas. And I have already damaged the dust jacket. And so we need to get this thing covered. So let's do a little repair here. Right there. That's the beauty of covering a dust jacket too, is that we protect the kind that are already getting frayed or ripped or whatever. We protect it so they won't continue on the same path. Because of course if I didn't cover this, it would just keep ripping. I don't even know how that happened, but anyway, we're going to use a stray piece of acetate cover that I had shoved in the back of a drawer. This stuff is just expensive enough, not to waste any pieces. And the acetate itself, it can be a little wrinkly, and you really can't that much tell once you have it covered. Just flatten this out a little bit. This one is not very highly creased. Come on, open up now. Stay up. I love how this dust jacket is so easy to work with. But the acetate is the one that's kind of wrinkled. Giving me trouble. And I think I'll use the other side. That might be better. Okay, now stay. Be still. See, this acetate dust jacket cover is way bigger than the book, but I just want to use up this stray piece. There we go. Once I get the cover in here, it'll be fine. It'll straighten things up. See, the thing is, I think this stuff is, it's not terribly expensive, but I don't like to waste any of it because it costs money, Push that all the way back flat. And we get, and the static in there also helps your book this, for some reason, this acetate creates static. Certain kinds of plastic. Now see, some might cut that off, but I don't, because I figure the more paper, the more firm, the more well protected it will be from ripping or any kind of damage. And of course I like the top edge of the book to have the thickest and most protection, because that is the side that would most come into contact with ripping or tearing situations. Okay, 3 areas, and then again, some people might, put more tape than this. Anyone is welcome to, of course. Bigger pieces, more pieces. But I'm really just tacking things. I'm tacking it in place. Because once you have it all together, it really isn't going to go anywhere. Especially if you tape it to the book. But I like this method also. Some people probably don't even tape the leaf together, but I do not want them falling off. I have noticed at the library that there is a trend away from dust jackets, and the newer books are not having them. And I think that's sad. It's like losing a tradition, you know? This is classic and classy, in my opinion. Alright, we are almost done here, you guys. That is so nice. That is it's such a relief, to feel it is protected. So, our 3 children's books. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the little German book, but we had time. The way that looks on the inside, there are no pictures, but I like the texture of the paper. You can feel how nice it is. A German Christmas. Okay, and Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. In this story, the steam shovel has a name, Marianne. It's the cutest little thing. Yeah, so I hope to read these children's books in the near future. The moon might be milk. And these different critters are talking to the young girl about what the moon is made of. And as I said about this book, it's imagining what life would be like with school every single day. And it's so cute. So I will read these in the near future. Thank you so much for joining me, y'all. And I'll see you in the next